Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Steve Nilsen calling in from Loveland, Colorado. I'm going to be your host tonight on the Millionaire Mentorship Call. It's just such an honor and a privilege to be asked to share this platform with the OG family. And I'm going to give you some information tonight, the hopes to help you take your business to the next level. And it's just kind of cool to be able to do this on a Zoom presentation. I know this is a brand new tool that we've been using, you guys. And if you're like me, I love to learn, but I need to see it and hear it at the same time. So I've actually had my daughter Casey help me put together a little PowerPoint, and hopefully that's going to go off without a hitch, and that way you won't have to sit there and just stare at me the whole night. We'll have some slides that we can interact with, and I'm going to go ahead and just get started with the information. And tonight's call, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about basically three different things. I'm going to talk about success. I'm going to talk about some mindset, and then I'm going to talk about the evidence of success. So as you can see, we got the screen up here. This is one that we just pulled right off of our Organo's website. You know, the tools that they have there are absolutely incredible. But you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb here and really say something that, you know, success in Organo really is not about the coffee. Many of you have heard us say that before. It's really not about our products because let me ask you a question. How many of you believe that coffee is very simple, right? Coffee is really a simple item. It's consumed by the masses all over the world. Upwards of 75% of people consume coffee each and every day. We don't have to train a single person in the world how to drink it. They already know, you guys. It becomes so commonplace that really as people become young adults, they start consuming the coffee. So it's a very simple item to do. Would you also agree with me from our health component that people want to be healthy? You know, the majority of the world, I would believe it's 100%, probably 99.9%. There's always one that may not want to be healthy, right? But the world wants to be healthy. They want to feel better. They want to be able to do the things that they like to do and do it while they feel good and not have to worry about issues of not feeling good or being ill or sick or anything like that. And would you agree with me that coffee is going to be around for a while, right? It's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, you guys, and I believe it's going to be around for hundreds and hundreds of years, well after I'm gone. So really, in all honesty, every single person listening to this call tonight, you know, coffee is going to outlive us. It's going to be here a lot longer than we are. So what do I mean when I talk about the success is not in the coffee, right? That Organo is really not about the coffee. If it's not about the coffee, then what is it about? Well, you guys, I believe it's about a vision of one man, Mr. Bernie Chua, a gentleman that has put together a product line that literally can change the world. You know, he had a great idea. Think about this. He was sitting there maybe one day. I don't know how it all happened. I haven't had a chance to ask him. But, you know, Mr. Chua thought, what if I put something that everybody needs, which is health, and I put it in something that everybody wants, which is coffee? And then he has a few items, you know, that we have extra through our product line, where now he's able to deliver the health component through the products and really reach 100% of the population. We have our shake line, we have our teas and hot chocolates, the coffee, soap, toothpaste, you know, products that people use every single day, all day long. And now we have the ability to deliver those. So when we're talking about the success in Organo, it's about Bernie Chua's idea, right? The idea that he had absolutely is genius. Would you guys agree with me that that is a brilliant idea? Absolutely brilliant. You know, it's one of those things where you kind of sit there and you scratch your head and say, wow, I wished I would have thought of that, right? Well, I'm certainly glad that Mr. Bernie Chua did, because, you know, coffee's been around for a long time, you guys. It's been consumed all over the world for hundreds of years, and yet now we have something that is special. It's unique. It's unique to the market because we have added a health component, and I use we very liberally, right? Gradually, whatever you want to call it, because I didn't do it. But I'm part of Organo, and I feel very honored to be part of Organo. So we've been able to add a health component to products that people use each and every day. So I believe what Mr. Bernie Chua did is he did to the coffee industry what Uber did to the taxi industry. And, I heard Mr. Bugs tell the story about how Uber was invented or how it came to pass. And really the founder of Uber walked out of a hotel room, I believe it was in Europe, and was sitting there waiting for a cab. And it took over 20 minutes for him to hail that cab, for that cab to come pick him up, take him to his destination. And while he was sitting there, he had a thought. He had an idea, right? Just like Mr. Bernaccio, a brilliant idea. And he said, what if I could create a company, or what if there was a company around that you could just make a phone call and have a cab pick you up in, say, around 2 minutes? Less than 5 minutes, 2 minutes would be ideal, and you wouldn't have to wait, and that taxi cab would take you to your destination. Wouldn't that be a very unique concept? Wouldn't that be awesome? It would keep people from having to waste time by waiting for a cab to come pick them up. And what he had to do when he was thinking about that, you guys, I believe, is like Mr. Holton Bugs explains it. He actually had to kind of go up and look at the world from a different perspective. He actually kind of thought, what are the resources that I have available? Well, first of all, he knew he was going to need a whole lot more cabs, right? It's going to need hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of cars to make that happen. He also knew he was going to have a lot more drivers to drive those cars, pick people up, a system in place to make it all happen. And, obviously that would be incredibly expensive to do all of that. But then he looked at what was available, and he looked down and thought, wow, just about everybody in North America, even everybody around the world, almost every single person out there has at least one vehicle, right? They have a car and they know how to drive it. And he's like, I wonder what if I could tap into that somehow? And then he thinks about, well, how many people want to earn some extra income? How many individuals out there would love to work for themselves? You see, there's many, many people out there who would love to own their own business. They would love to work for themselves. They would like to call their own shots. They'd like to clock in when they want to clock in, clock out when they want to clock out. They want to go to all the events that maybe their children have. Maybe they want to take a 2-week vacation, and they don't want to have to call in and ask a boss for time off. And you see, what this man did is he created an app that now you can go and sign up for an Uber driver, and you just turn the app on when you want to go to work. You take the fares that are available, they pop up. I don't know exactly how it works. I'm not an Uber driver, but all of a sudden now you can work your hours. You can work the times that you want to work. You can take off when you want to work. You can do it part-time. You can do it full-time. And he created a company that really is the largest taxi cab service in the entire world, and yet he does not own one single vehicle. And that concept, you guys, really changed the way the taxi cab industry is even looked at. So, I was talking to a lady down in Rocky Fork, Colorado just last week, Tammy Ridenauer, and she was talking about building a better mousetrap. Well, that's what the Uber guys did. Well, I believe Bernie Chua has done that for us. And what he's been able to do is he's now allowed you and me to tap into an industry that exists all over the globe, and yet we can tap into it as business owners of our own. And what I mean by that is maybe Bernie Chua had this thought, maybe he didn't, but bear with me and say, what if he thought, every single household, every single office building has a cabinet or a pantry or maybe a vanity where they have coffee in the pantry. They have coffee in the cabinets. They have soap and toothpaste in the vanities in the bathrooms. They have space in their homes for the products that he wanted to bring to the market. And we have a unique product that has that health component in it. What if I could give individuals like you and like me the ability to warehouse just a little bit of product? And they bring it into their own home, and now they can work when they want to. They can either consume it, obviously, they consume it and get the benefits of this incredible product so that they can be healthy. And what if they want to make a little bit of extra money? And they want to work 1 hour a day, and they want to call some of their friends and their family and their neighbors and people they go to church with and people that they're associated with, coworkers that they already see each and every day, and offer them a healthier version of coffee. tea, hot chocolate, and some of the other product lines we have? What if they know some people who want to lose some weight and they want to incorporate our OGX Phoenix into their diet? And now they have an avenue through a simple retail business model where they can buy at wholesale. Bernie Chua supplies it all at wholesale. He lets you keep all the profits. You see, guys, it's exactly what the Uber guy did. But the Uber guy said, you know what, I'm going to get the fare, and what I'll do is I'll give 80 to 90% of that income generated by it to the driver, and I'll keep a small percentage of it. Bernie Chua says, you know what, I'm going to let you keep all of your retail product, all the profit that you make retail, and I'm going to allow you to build a team, and guess what, you can start building a commission base so that you get to keep it all. I'll just move product at a wholesale level, and that will make the company run on and hit on all cylinders. And so now what we have the opportunity to do, because of Mr. Bernie Chua and because of what he's been able to do with this incredible product, is now we can go out there and we can work our own hours. We can work an hour a day or an hour a week or an hour a month or 10 hours a day or 10 hours a week or 10 hours a month. And guess what? We can clock in and clock out whenever we want to. We can share this product. We can start generating a income based just strictly on the retail aspect of it, and you get to keep all the profits. You buy it wholesale, you get to keep the profits because you're selling at retail. You get all the tax benefits of a small business, and now all of a sudden you have another avenue, another stream of income to use as you go out there and start to earn extra income. Because he also knew that many people want extra income, right? They just need a little bit extra at the end of the month. But then he said, what about those that want to go out there and create wealth? Well, I'm going to give them the ability to build a team. And you know what? They can now start getting people involved in the business. And you know what? I'll give them a percentage of all the business that they generate, all the way to eternity, really, infinity, and they can build all over the globe. And guess what? They get to keep the profits, and they get to start building that team. And the one thing that Mr. Bernie Chua has that Uber does not have, you guys, is he has the residual component. Because what Bernie Chua has done, and what Mr. Shane Moran and Mr. Holton Buggs have done, because what Bernie did is he automatically he got involved with two titans in the industry, Mr. Moran, Mr. Bug, and said, hey, you guys, let's do this. Let's go ahead and create this company where people can go out there and they can start earning some income, and they can start keeping the money. And guess what? They can start building a residual aspect. Because see, if you're a taxi cab driver, you get paid when the fare is done, and then you have to go get another fare, right? Well, what if you gather a customer in Organo? You gather a customer and they become a customer and continue to purchase product month after month, year after year, decade after decade. You get paid literally for doing the work one time. You do it correctly, and now you've gathered a customer, and you can create a commission off that customer for the life of that customer's purchases through Organo. As they build this incredible business that we have, as this incredible company that we have, we add extra products, now encompassing every single human being on the planet, right? It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It doesn't matter what language you speak or what ethnic background you're from. You now have the ability through a cup of coffee to start generating that kind of income, you guys. And I think that is absolutely incredible. So, the Uber company is a company that's estimated at $70 billion. That company is worth $70 billion, and they do not own a single vehicle. Bernie Chua's company, you guys, we are a $1 billion company. Think about that. We've already moved over, to my knowledge, several $billion, over $2 billion, probably working on our third $1 billion of beverages into the market. And we're adding these new products like the energy drink, the OGX Phoenix. Now we have the energy drink. We have the detox tea. Soon to have a complete skincare line. You guys, what is that going to do to your income as your customers continue to purchase product and they are OG dependent? They love the brand. They love what it does for them. Your income not only becomes even more stable, but actually starts to increase each and every month because of the additional products that we have. So Mr. Chua has given you and I that incredible opportunity. So back to the question of, if it's not about the coffee, then what is it about, right? I mean, if it's truly not about the coffee, and we've said that before, we're really not a coffee company, we're a health and wellness company, but if it's not about the products, how do you gain success in Organo? We have incredible products, you guys. Mr. Chua doesn't skimp on ingredients, so we can say with the utmost confidence that our products are not on trial, right? People use them. We've sold billions of dollars in our products all over the globe. They are wanted by many. They are wanted by the masses, and we're continuing to go out there and gather these new customers. So how can you become successful in Organo? How can you yourself go out there and start becoming successful? You guys, I truly believe that it is in the mind. The mindset is vital. Have the mindset the right way, because we already know the product works. We already know it's wanted. We already know it's in demand. We already know that people are going to use it each and every day. It's our job to go out there and just share it with individuals, share it with people so that they can experience the Ganoderm and they can experience our gourmet beverages. And we have to have our mind right to do that. And I'm going to talk a little bit here in just a moment about the trees and the roots, and you'll see I have a nice little picture that Casey put together on me, but this saying right here, you can hang an orange on an apple tree, but it's still an apple tree. What does that mean? You guys, it means that the fruit in the tree, it comes from the roots, right? Whatever you have, if you look at this tree right here, and I like this photograph because I equate this picture with your brain, your mind, okay? We got to get the mind right. So is it the root or the fruit that we're concerned about? Well, if you kind of flip this over, the roots kind of look like the branches, right? And so what I am here to say is I believe that the fruit comes from the root. And what does that have to do? How do I equate that with the mind, okay? Whatever you put into the mind, that's what comes out. You know, I wasn't much of a reader before Organo, and one of the things that Mr. Holtenbugs has taught me is to become a reader, right? To go out there and fill my mind with the right kind of things and the philosophies and the principles. And what I've come to understand is any of the self-help books and the books that I have read, they all talk about the mindset. They all talk about what you put into the mind is extremely important. So this next picture, this indicates obviously a tree, right? And I don't want you to think of this as winter on one side, summer on the other. This is your brain, okay? And I want you to kind of visualize and go along with me here as the left side is the dark side. Right? It's the side that is the negative in our minds. And unfortunately, all of us have negative thoughts at times. But what we want to do is we want to get rid of those negative thoughts. Because if you continue to feed that tree with the roots, if the root structure is negative thoughts and negative feeling, then your tree is going to look like that on the left, right? If you feed that tree with the positive thoughts and the positive feelings, then your tree or your brain is going to look like the tree on the right. And what happens is as you work better, you're more attractive to the market, you're able to go out there and portray a better sense of you. You can become a better you. So what are some of the negative thoughts that we all have? Well, you know, I think doubt is one that everybody has experienced before. So what we have to do is we have to be aware of these thoughts almost instantaneously. When you have one of these thoughts, we got to change it. And what happens when we change? We can't just get rid of it, right? We can't just cut it out and get rid of it because there's a void there now. And when you have a void in anything, that void gets full. Think about an ocean. If you take a bucket of water out of an ocean, before you even get that water out, it's already filled, right? That void has already been replaced by other water. Well, if we just cut that root out, if we just get rid of the doubt, well, something else is going to fill it. So why don't we just automatically fill it with a positive thought? How about belief, right? How about belief? One of the things about belief, you guys, I think it's one of the most important part of a business because it's not only, we don't have to believe in Bernie Chu anymore. He's already proven that the product that he's brought to the market works with billions of dollars in sales. We don't have to believe that Organo works because there's already plenty of evidence that it does. That belief starts in believing in you, believing in yourself, believing in the product, believing that I can build a business, right? So if there's doubt, instantly replace it with belief. How do you do that? You can do that through what you're reading, what you're listening to, who you're talking to, who you're taking advice from. Remember, always take advice from somebody that you would change places with, right? Not somebody that shares your same challenges. And belief is a cornerstone of building a big Organo business. I believe that. How about fear? Why don't we replace fear with love, right? You guys, the feeling that you have inside of you is very important because it's going to help motivate you and put you in a state of being that helps you to be more attractive to the market. Again, if you go around with a scowl on your face and you're just not a happy person, people don't like to be around that, and they'll be able to sense it. But if you go around and you have this positiveness about you just flowing through you, guess what? You're going to become more attractive and people are going to listen to you. Instead of being ungrateful, let's be grateful, right? Fill your life with gratitude. Be happy for the things that you have. Even make a list of it. I'm actually having to attend a funeral service for a friend of mine on Wednesday, day after tomorrow. And this man was 57 years old. And, be grateful for life. Be grateful that you have breath in your lungs right now. Be grateful that your family is healthy. Be grateful that you have a roof over your head or that you have good food to eat. Be grateful that Bernie Chua created a solution to our financial challenges, right? And, Mr. Holtenbugs, I heard him say at one time, be grateful for a financial challenge because it's much easier to overcome than a health challenge. And yet we have the answer to both of them. So you have the bad on the left, the negative on the left. You have the positive on the right. You guys, the mind, whatever goes into the mind comes out of the mind. Get good at giving your mind positive thoughts and good direction, right? Indifference, maybe curiosity. What does it take to be curious? Those of you that are on the line right now, you're curious. Maybe this is the very first Millionaire Mentorship call that you have ever attended. And you're curious to know, what does a guy from Loveland, Colorado have to teach me about this business, right? What is Zoom all about? What is technology all about? How do I figure out how to use this on my computer? And how am I able to tap into some of the leaders that are getting on these calls and doing these calls? You guys, you have some incredible leadership that's going out and doing these calls. What do belief and love and gratitude and curiosity require? How about determination? How about inspiration? You see, there's a little bit of work involved because all of us have known or have been, I should speak for myself, have been in a rut at one time or another in our lives. And we get in that rut, we gotta recognize that we're in a rut. We gotta figure out a way to get out of it. Well, what better way is to feed your mind with the right thoughts, with the right beliefs? Surround yourself with the right people, right? Determination, you gotta be willing to win, refuse to lose, right? Inspiration, what are you reading? What are you feeding your mind? Think of it this way, what are you fertilizing your mind with? If you fertilize your mind with negative, guess what it's going to produce? It's going to produce negative. What if you fertilize your mind with just incredible thoughts of abundance, incredible thoughts of belief in the product and belief in the system, belief in abundance, right? Boredom, fun. Yeah. If you get bored, you guys, have some fun. Figure out some ways to have some fun. Mr. Jose Ardone, he said it a long time ago, this is a fun-based business. And truly it is. When you make business fun, ladies and gentlemen, guess what you attract? You attract the fun in the business. You're going to have challenges in life, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, your economic background, your social background. It doesn't matter. There will be challenges, but guess what? If you create an environment that is fun to be in, that people are curious about you, that you can actually carry on a great conversation with them, and you have fun, that negative gets pushed so far away that it's hard for it to even break in, right? A negative thought cannot be in existence with a positive thought. It's impossible. Mr. Shane Moran did a little experiment, I guess you would call it, at UTX, where he just asked everybody to smile. If you're bored or if you're having a challenge, just smile. Even smile to yourself. You may even laugh at yourself. And guess what? That starts to bring you into that state on the side of positiveness, of good thoughts. If you're thinking of lack, instantly change it to abundance. You guys, think about the abundance that we have in our world. It is absolutely incredible that we have so much. Just here in the United States where I'm from, we have food. You can go to the grocery store and you can buy any kind of food that you want. Just that, it's literally that close. You know, we don't have, it's not like the olden days where you had to grow it. It's right at your fingertips. We have, be thankful for life. You know, I mentioned the funeral that I'm going to go to on Wednesday. We have our life. Maybe we have the ability to walk. We have the ability to use our hands. We have the ability, the blessing of sight and hearing. There's so many things that we can be thankful for, that we can have gratitude for, the abundance of life that's out there. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to make sure that we pay attention to those, right? Anxiety, you know, if you're anxious or anxiety or depressed, we want to maybe listen to your favorite music, maybe prayer. That's a good time to maybe get right with your Creator and say a prayer and bring that feeling of it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. I want to have that peaceful thought in my life and get rid of the anxious thoughts, get rid of that anxiety, get rid of that depression. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, some of this is a lot easier said than done. But when you're aware of it and when you're aware of it happening, you can make an effort instantly to try to change the thought process in your head. Loneliness, togetherness, right? How do we get together? You know, if you're feeling lonely, then give somebody a call. You know, give your, in our business, give your upline a call. Give your diamond a call. Social media nowadays, you can go and you can follow people that are having success and give them a thumbs up or a little wave or just start to interact with them. You know, we have our ultimate training experience that we just had in Las Vegas in February. You guys, absolutely incredible. Attend those events, right? We have the Expo coming up in September. I am so excited for that. I truly believe that's going to be one of those events that sells out. I would get my tickets right now. They're on sale. I'm already registered. Deanna and Casey and I, we are registered, have our hotel room booked, the whole work, because we're not going to miss that event. You guys, we're going to celebrate our 10th anniversary. Togetherness. Can you imagine the energy? The energy that's going to be in that room? Probably 50 countries are going to be represented there. And there's no way a loneliness thought can even exist in that environment. So plug yourself into those. These Zoom calls, right? The Millionaire Mentorship call, or even the opportunity calls, the training calls that are available, the mixers in your area, in your market. If there's not an active mixer in your market right now, ladies and gentlemen, be the mixer. Invite some people over, have some fun, share some coffee, share some information. If you're stuck, we've all been stuck, right? Well, if you're stuck, you got to move. You got to move. Well, we can grow. Again, this comes down to what are you putting on the roots? What are you feeding yourself? What are you feeding your mind? Are you feeding your mind with junk, right? Even junk food? Are you eating right? Are you exercising? Are you reading? Are you studying? Are you praying? Are you doing the things on the right side of the screen so that you can just put yourself in a state of mind to win, right? Anger, you know, everybody gets angry. That's just a normal emotion, but let's recognize it and let's get rid of it, and let's get peace, right? I'm not saying it's completely bad to be angry, but don't stay angry, right? If you get angry, think about it. Most of the things we get angry about, we forget about a week later or a month later. We don't even remember, right? So don't stay in that emotion very long. Learn to recognize it and then learn to get out of it. And again, maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's just me, myself, what I love to do. If I feel myself slipping into a negative emotion, I pull out my screensaver on my phone. And anybody that has seen it, it's of my 2 grandsons. And they're climbing all over each other. Both of them have a smile on their face, and instantaneously, you guys, it softens that negative feeling. And in 90% of the time, 99% of the time, it gets rid of it completely. So I recognize it, and then I want to get out of it as quickly as I can. Poverty, wealth, right? You guys, there is so much money in the world today. Do you realize I've been told that there is more money flowing through the system right now than at any other time in the history of the world? We just have to get in the way of some of it. And you know what? Getting in the way of it is through this incredible company called Organo that Mr. Bernie Chua, that he has put together for people just like you and me. You know, add to this list on the right. We want to eliminate the list on the left, right? But if we eliminate it, we have to put something else in it. So add some different words, maybe add some different emotions. Determination, we mentioned that one earlier. How about intention, right? Add your intention. What do you intend to do, right? Efficient, be efficient. Hope, inspiration, principles, systems, right? Things that we can plug in and actually act upon. Freedom, knowledge, dreaming. You know, I got a story right here that I'd like to read. You know, a couple of them actually. This is from a book, a very good book. Casey's been reading this book. It's called Chase the Lion by Mark Patterson, you guys. And this kind of ties right in to the principle of belief, to that emotion of belief. Where is your belief? Ask yourself in your heart, where's your belief about you? Where's your belief about Organo? And this book talks about Guinness. Many of you might recognize that word. It's actually a beer company. Arthur Guinness is the gentleman. And I'm going to read just a little paragraph about him. And I want you to ask yourself, wow, was his belief strong or was his belief weak? Okay, Arthur Guinness opened a brewery in Dublin, Ireland, leasing a 4-acre piece of property at St. James Gate at the western entrance of the city. It had great foot traffic. It was also the site of an annual fair where the best-selling item was ale, right? Beer. That's what the company is. But Guinness didn't choose it for those reasons. He knew that city planners intended to build Ireland's Grand Canal adjacent to St. James Gate, which would give his brewery a built-in shipping lane right in his own backyard. But guess what? He didn't have any money. He couldn't buy the property. So he had an eye for opportunity, and he also had a knack for negotiations because he managed to secure a 9,000-year lease. Yes, you heard me right, a 9,000-year lease. That must be a Guinness World Record, right? That they put that in there. I had to read it, pun intended. But Arthur Guinness put down 100 pounds and agreed to pay 45 pounds per year for 9,000 years. Now, where was the belief in that man and his company? You see, he didn't try to just get it for a year or for 9,000 years. Obviously, he's not going to make it that long. You guys, that means that the Guinness company is older than America itself. It has a traditional policy that has guided their decision-making for 257 years. You guys, that's belief. Here's a man that believed in his product. Here's a man that believed in his vision. You know, Bernie Chua has a 200-year plan. You know, I think I'm pretty safe to say that none of us will be here 200 years from now, but there is already a 200-year plan in place for Organo. You guys, steps are being taken right now to secure your company for at least the next 200 years. That is a man that has belief, that has a vision that is unshakable, that is going to stick through it, through thick and thin, and build a company that truly is going to bring the treasures of the earth to the people of the world. That kind of story like that inspires me. So we talk about inspiration, right? Here's another story here. This one talks about perseverance and dedication, okay? And this is about a gentleman I never heard of. I'm a baseball player, okay? I love baseball. I played college ball, a little bit of semi-pro ball. I thought my goal was to be a professional baseball player, okay? And I never heard of this guy. His name was George Shotgun Shuba, okay? He played for the Brooklyn Dodgers, and he was part of the 1955 World Series champion. Okay, and in a book that's called The Boys of Summer that was written by a gentleman by the name of Roger Kahn, he said Shuba's swing was as natural as a smile. Shuba, however, laughed at Kahn's description during an interview with Kahn. Shuba walked over to a filing cabinet, pulled out a chart marked with a lot of X's. During the off-season, Shuba would swing a weighted bat 600 times per day. And that was after working his off-season job. See, baseball didn't pay that well in the 1950s. They had to have a job as well as during playing baseball during the season. Every night he'd take 60 swings and then mark an X on his chart. After 10 X's, he'd give himself permission to go to bed. Shuba practiced that daily ritual for 15 years, ladies and gentlemen. You call that natural? Shuba asked Khan. I swung a 44-ounce bat 600 times per night, 4,200 times per week, 47,200 swings every winter. In my humble opinion, no one is a natural. Sure, some people are more naturally gifted than others, but unless that giftedness is coupled with a complementary work ethic, it only results in wasted potential. So you see, you guys, what we have a system in place where when you put that kind of dedication into Organo, and they're going to call you the next Jose Ardon or Mr. John Sectouris or one of the elite diamonds in the company, ladies and gentlemen, because what you're doing is you're just applying, you're working on your craft. You're working on your craft with a complementary work ethic, okay? It doesn't say that you have to be the best. It just means you have to put forth that effort. So that's inspirational to me. That means that it's not a one-hit wonder, right? It's not someone who just goes out and they're a natural. I'm going to read another story. Stories are important. Learn the art of telling a story. This is by a book that was recommended to me by Mr. Holton Buggs. It's called A Curious Mind, and it's by Brian Grazier. And this is a fascinating story. It's about an author, okay? It's about an author, and it's about determination, okay? This is an author who got turned down 26 times. 26 times, and kept plugging. He believed in his vision. He believed in his talents, okay? And so I'm going to just start reading here. It says, being determined in the face of obstacles is vital. Theodore Geisel is a great example of that himself. Many of his 44 books remain today wild bestsellers. In 2013, Green Eggs and Ham sold more than 700,000 copies in the United States. The Cat in the Hat sold more than 500,000 copies, as did Oh, the Places You'll Go, and One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish, and 5 other Dr. Seuss books, each sold over 250,000 copies. That's 8 books with a total sales of more than 3.5 million copies in 1 year. Another 8 Dr. Seuss books titled also sold 100,000 copies or more each. Theodore Geisel, Dr. Seuss, is selling 11,000 Dr. Seuss books every single day of the year in the United States alone, 24 years later after he had passed away. He has sold over 600 million books worldwide since his first book, and Think That I Saw It on a Mulberry Street was published in 1937. That is the book that was turned down, rejected by 27 publishers before being accepted by Vanguard Press. You guys, what if Geisel had decided that 20 rejections were enough for him, or 25 rejections were enough for him? Many people like myself would have grown up without Dr. Seuss. Can you imagine? Classics in the literary world, ladies and gentlemen, and it almost didn't happen. But his perseverance, right? Perseverance could belong on this list. Belief, again, believing in yourself, believing in your product, believing in your talent, believing in Organo. Those kind of stories are inspirational. But how do you find those kind of stories? You read them. You go out and you share those kind of stories with others. You get a book recommendation from your upline, from Mr. Buggs or from Casey Martin. She reads more than any person that I know. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where I get a lot of my book recommendations for, is from my daughter. Hey, what's a good book? And she's read so many, she can just rattle them off from the top of her tongue. These Chinese proverbs, you guys, these proverbs are just absolutely incredible, you know, and when you think about them, they make so much sense, right? So much sense. A tree with strong roots laughs at a storm. Right? Why? Because even if one of the branches blows away or breaks, the roots are still there. That tree is not going to be in jeopardy. When the roots are deep, there is no reason to fear the wind. A Chinese proverb. Again, it speaks to the same thing, right? When the roots are deep, when your roots are deep in Organo, nobody can shake your tree. How many of you have heard that saying, right? Nobody can shake my tree, right? When your roots are deep enough and your belief is strong enough, nobody will be able to shake your tree. The creation of 1,000 forests is in one acorn. I've heard Mr. Bug say it before. You can count the number of seeds in an apple, but you can't count the number of apples from one seed. It says the same thing, you guys. A seed planted can produce so much more. You can count the seed, but you can't count the fruit of that seed, right? What is our job? What is our goal in Organo? Is to plant seeds, to share the product, to share the information, to share this incredible business model with people that we know, even strangers. You know, I'm forever grateful that a total stranger shared this information with me. I'd never met the man before. I'd known him for a total of about 20 minutes. And because he was brave enough, I guess, to share a cup of coffee with me, you guys, it has changed my life forever. You can't have the fruits without the roots. Here again, whatever the nourishment that comes up from the root is going to feed your brain, right? From the heart to the hand to the mind, you know, I mean, whatever you have in your heart's going to feed your brain. Whatever you put in your brain is going to in turn feed the rest of your body. So you can't have the fruits without the roots, by Stephen Covey. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, right? But by the seeds that you plant. See, because a seed that you plant today might not even produce fruit for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Sometimes someone will sit on the business for a year or 2 years. I've had it happen in my organization. Somebody will sit on the business for 2 years, then something happens in their life, they get fired up, and they're your next sapphire. They're your next ruby. They're your next emerald. They're your next diamond. Maybe you're searching among the branches for what only appears in the roots. Again, you guys, whatever's in the branches is coming from the roots. Somebody may hang an orange on an apple tree, but it doesn't make it an apple tree. It doesn't make it an orange tree. It's still an apple tree. So if you're searching in the branches, for something, take a look at the roots. You know what your roots are. You know what you've been feeding your brain. You know what you've been feeding your tree, right? So decide what you want. You know, decide what you want financially. Decide what you want from a health standpoint. Visualize it. Visualize it. Just hold on to that vision and believe that it's going to happen, because it's going to happen. Feel it, the emotion, what the vibration that you put behind that feeling, you guys, is extremely powerful. Follow the system, right? We've heard systems like an apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? Well, how about let's say a spore a day, or a coffee a day, or some shakes every day. You know, we encourage people that we share the plan with to get Ganoderm in your body 5 or 6 times a day. Many of us can do it 3 or 4 times before we even leave the house, because we take a bath or a shower. We brush our teeth. We have a coffee or a tea and maybe a shake. That's 4 times before you even leave the house. Have a tea in the afternoon, have an incredible detox tea or an energy drink, and now you're putting this incredible herb in your body. It's a system, right? We have a system for health. Put it into action. Put it into action. There's faith without deeds is dead, right? You got to have the action. Have fun. Again, fun is a key component to success. Keep believing. Again, belief is important. Belief is extremely important. Take massive action. So action's on there twice, right? It says put it into action. Take massive action if you want even more. STP, what does that mean, you guys? See the people. Share the product. Show the plan. Nothing happens until coffee's moved into the market, tea's moving into the market, shakes moving into the market. It's just our simple job to give it away. You know, whoever gives away the most coffee earns the most money. Mr. Rod Smith told me that 9 years ago when he learned it from Mr. Bugs. Give it away. Give it away. You know what happens, ladies and gentlemen? When you give it away, you start to gather customers. Be confident in your product. Confident in your product. I give a money-back guarantee. 9 years. I've never had to give anybody their money back. You realize that 9 years, people that have purchased product from me, not one single person has ever asked for their money back. And there's been a lot of product that's moved in the last 9 years. You guys, why? The evidence. The evidence is overwhelming. Up here on the left side, you have Edwin and Andrea Haynes, you know, million-dollar earners in this business. Used to be in the music industry. You guys, the music industry changed so fast, so quickly that you couldn't keep up with it. You literally couldn't keep up with it. It went from vinyl to I don't know the progression, but I think it went from vinyl to 8-track to cassettes to CDs to now it's streamed, and you don't even need any of that stuff anymore. You can't keep track of all that quickly. And guess what? What he spent a good majority of his life doing was gone. And what did he do? He got involved with Mr. Holton Bugs, and now he's a $1 million earner in the coffee industry. Has an incredible team all over the world. In the center there, you know, right here, this is myself, Deanna, and Casey when Mr. Chua rented Texas Motor Speedway at one of our events, and the Diamonds went. We got to drive a NASCAR. One of my to-do list, bucket list items, you guys, having fun, you know, rewarded for the fruits of your labor. You got Mr. Holton Bugs there standing over his Lamborghini Aventador. You know, guys, that's a $500,000 car. Why? Because people drink coffee all over the world. And the residual component of it is when you pay for the car in a very short period of time, guess what? The money's back in your account. You don't have to go out and do the work again. Do it right the first time. This is one of my favorite pictures. This is only from about a week ago, you guys. These are some of the diamonds down in Mexico. I believe it was right after the Puerto Vallarta event that they had down there. And they had an incredible event. You guys, Mexico is actually just blowing up. It's on fire. And you know what? They work hard and they play hard. While everybody else got up and had to go to work the next day, these individuals rented a yacht and went out on the ocean and just had a great time enjoying the fruits of their labor. You guys, I don't believe a single one of those individuals, Hanoi, Carmen's there, you can see Cesar Munoz, Jessica and Carlos and Carmen. You guys, I don't believe any of them had ever attained financial freedom prior to Organo. There's school teachers in that pictures, engineers in that pictures. Hanoi, I believe, defected from Cuba just basically to save his own life. And now look at him living the #1 lifestyle in the world. You have Mr. Jose Ardon standing in front of a private jet. He put in the work, ladies and gentlemen. He put in the work, and now if he chooses to, he can get a private jet and fly anywhere he wants in the world. This is evidence that it works, right? Dreaming big. It's free to dream. It's very expensive to not dream, right? It's free to dream. Who says you can't get on a private jet or drive a Lamborghini or be out on a yacht in the ocean when everybody else is at work? How about Steve and Rhonda Martin? He's shown here with their boys, you guys. They get to travel the world. Can you imagine having the financial resources to, instead of having your children learn about the pyramids in Egypt, you just take them there? Or the Mayan ruins in Mexico, you just go down there and walk them yourself. You know, I've been on several trips with Steve and Rhonda, and I know, I think it's Jackson, the little guy, climbed the wall on the cruise about 1,000 times, a climbing wall, harnessed up. He probably set a record. He had climbed it so fast. You know, what experience can you give your family and yourselves when you have a little bit extra? See, be willing to do what it takes today to live the life that you want to live tomorrow. Right here in the middle, you have Esther. I mean, I tell you what, you know, this lady is absolutely incredible. Diamond consultant, $1 million earner in Organo. You guys paid cash for a house for a 7-figure price tag, and she wrote a check for it. You have John and Blanca Saturas over here on the right, you know, ready to go into foreclosure when they got started with Organo. And now you see their beautiful $1 million home in the background with their cars. I believe there's 2 Rolls Royces in that picture. Why? Because they're willing to do today what the sacrifices today to live the life that they want to live tomorrow. Marcos over here on the left, you know, this man was a truck driver in Europe, and now he's a $1 million earner in Organo. Why? Because he knew some people who drank coffee. He gave them a few samples. He started to build a team. he started to take advantage of the incredible business opportunity that Mr. Chua has put in front of him, that Mr. Bugs has put in front of him. Mr. Moran had, those two gentlemen have perfected the system, ladies and gentlemen, and opened Organo, your company, in multiple different countries. Sam and Kim being there, making that Lamborghini look really good right there, right? You know, here's another gentleman owned his own business, and now he was getting ready to lose it in 2008 in the recession, you guys. And because of Organo, now they're living the #1 lifestyle in the world. Incredible couple, Kelly and Bob Bukowski, Dr. Bob. You know, he's already impacted millions of people. Well, maybe not millions, hundreds of thousands. Let's say that. Of people just as a physician, as a doctor, and doing the things that he's done and studying what he's done. And guess what he's done now? He's been able to take a simple system that we have, incorporate it into his everyday life, and now him and his wife are continue to live a life that other people just dream about. You look at Arlene Bugs, you guys. Miss Bugs is just an incredible lady. I've never been to one of her women events, but I can tell you, if I was you, I would write these dates down. She's doing one in Houston in just a few weeks, April 29th. You guys, what impact has this lady had on your life? If you're a woman and you've been to one of her events, I can be willing to bet that she's impacted your life tremendously. Giving back with the resources that they have and the income that they've created and the knowledge that they built, and they give it freely, you guys. They give it to you so that you can go out and apply it. Manyi right down here on the bottom right, this was on our first cruise together. You know, what has Organo meant to her? She's an expected mother now. Wasn't expected to have children, was told by doctors she would never have children. She's been in Organo now, and now she is a newlywed, ready to have her first child. What does that mean to her? What kind of story, what kind of impact is that has she had in her area of Hungary where she lives, you know, across the ocean? And Bernie Chua is impacting lives, one life at a time. These three men right in the middle, you guys, I tell you what, I'm old enough to be their fathers. Collectively, I think they're barely older than I am, their ages. If you add them all up together, they might just be a little bit older than me. And what are they doing? They're living their dreams. They're living their lifestyle. Italy, you guys, these men right here are going out, and I call them men. They're young enough to be my sons, but they are men in business, and they're out there just impacting the world. You got my golfing buddy over here, Mr. Super E, doing what? Doing what he loves, playing golf, going out and playing. We've had the pleasure to play all over the world together. We played in the Bahamas. We played in Hawaii. We've played in Mexico. We've played in the United States, multiple courses in the U.S. We've played in Jamaica. Why? Right? He's out there doing what it takes every day to live the life that he wants to live tomorrow. And then that picture in the middle, you guys, just, you know, some people that mean the world to me. Mr. Rod Smith, you know, former wide receiver with the Denver Broncos. Honestly, you guys, he was a millionaire before he started Organo. And yet he saw something. He saw a way to impact people differently. Impact people from a health standpoint, impact people from a wealth standpoint, giving others the ability to live the lifestyle that he had created as a professional athlete. Dwayne and Anna Kleinsasser, you know, these two I never would have met before if it hadn't been for Organo, and I consider them two of my dearest friends. You know, they live in Wisconsin. They built a diamond ship out there, one customer at a time, one distributor at a time, and they have impacted people all over the Midwest. I can tell you from a small business owner himself, he and I see a lot of the same ideas and the same concepts, and we had some of the same challenges. And, you know, a former flooring contractor who now is free, able to do and pursue some of the things that he wants to do, able to spend time with his 3 children and go to their events and watch them grow up and not be gone in the process. Being able to spend time with his beautiful wife, Anna. You know, that lady's the glue in that family, and I can tell you, she's a very special person, and I would never have got to meet them if it hadn't been for Organo. And then my lovely wife and my daughter, Casey, I can tell you, those are my business partners, you guys. Those are the ladies that I see each and every day and that we go out and we build this business for each other. Whatever you need to do, whatever you need to do today to live the life of tomorrow, I would encourage you to do that. I would encourage you to go out there and do whatever it takes. Share the product, share the plan. One of these pictures right here, you guys, if that motivates you, if that inspires you, put it up on your mirror as you get ready to go to work in the morning. Maybe put it on your rear view mirror while you're driving, right below it, right? So every time you glance up at that rear view mirror, you see one of your dreams. You can do like John Secturis does. Put it in your wallet. Write yourself a check. Put it in your wallet so that you feel it, that you see it, that you believe it. Whatever it takes, we have a system in place. We have a system in place. I think I might have time for one more story here, you guys, that I would like to read. And this talks about opportunity and opportunity costs, okay? Opportunity is what we have here in Organo. Opportunity is what we have the ability to go out and share with others. We can share the opportunity of Organo, and we can share it over and over and over again, knowing that some will and some won't. But let me read you something. How many of you remember Blockbuster? Blockbuster, okay? At their peak in 2004, Blockbuster had 60,000 employees. 60,000 employees, you guys. This was in 2004, not very long ago. 9,000 stores worldwide, and an annual revenues exceeding $5.9 billion. That's a pretty powerful company, pretty strong company, right? At the time, only 4% of homes in America had a broadband connection. That's a key fact. But that number skyrocketed to 68% of homes in 2010. So just 6 years later, would you agree that the game had changed, right? In other words, the game changed. And the name of the game was video streaming. Now here's the thing. Blockbuster ultimately filed for bankruptcy, but it didn't have to end that way. If only they hadn't turned down the opportunity to buy a DVD mailing company called Netflix. You see, Netflix was running into a little bit of financial challenges, a little bit of difficulty trying to get their company up and running, and they went to Blockbuster, and they offered Blockbuster the opportunity to buy them for $50 million. Now, that might sound like a pretty steep price tag, but when you do the math, you guys, it represented 3 days of Blockbuster's revenues. Just 3 days of revenues, they could have bought Netflix. Well, Netflix was the company that ultimately drove them into bankruptcy. And Netflix value today stands at $32.9 billion, 6 times greater than the height of the Blockbuster company. You guys, opportunity cost. What did it cost Blockbuster to not buy Netflix? It didn't cost them anything. It didn't cost them $1 because they chose not to purchase it. But the opportunity cost, $32 million and counting, right? It cost them $32 million company that they could have owned for pennies on the dollar, literally pennies on the dollar. You guys, Organo is a company that costs you $1,300. $1,300. The sacrifice of $1,300 is significant to a lot of people, but when you really get down to it, you guys, $1,300 for a company is pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar. Your opportunity cost is up to you. Will it cost you $1,300, or will you turn your $1,300 into a sapphire business, into a ruby business, into an emerald business? How about a diamond business and join the #1 lifestyle in the world? Being able to travel the world, be on the beaches when someone else is working, drive the car of your choice, live in the home of your choice, buy an extra car of your choice, right? You guys, this is what Mr. Bernie Chua has put in each one of our plates. And I believe it starts right between our 2 ears in our mind. Believe it. The evidence is overwhelming, absolutely overwhelming. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my time. I hope that you have gathered something that you can take out today and you can put it in practice for tomorrow so that you could live the life of your dream. Steve Nilsen from Loveland, Colorado. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's easy, it's simple, it's Organo. God bless and have a great day.